Hey everybody, and welcome to the weekly scopes from the 2nd to the 8th of March. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I, formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic Constellational Astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic Constellational Astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs and the Western signs shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain what parallels and contra-parallels are in astrology, because I use them in my chart interpretation. So declination in astrology is the measure of how far a celestial body is, such as the sun, whether it's either north or south of the celestial equator. And the celestial equator is an imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator, which us astrologers use in our interpretation. So parallels happen when two planets are on the same declination, either both planets are on the north side side, or either both planets are on the south side, and this alignment increases the influence of the involved planets. So it's similar to a conjunction aspect, as it amplifies their energy, making the effects of the planets more pronounced. Contra-parallels, on the other hand, happen when two planets are on the same declination, but one is in the north and one is in the south. So this alignment creates tension, which is similar to an opposition aspect, and it can lead to conflict, challenges and inner struggles between the energies of the planets involved. So contra-parallels highlight areas of friction or contrast in our lives, urging us to find balance between the opposing forces at play. When transiting parallels and contra-parallels happen, they can sort of like trigger significant events, shifting consciousness and periods of intense growth and transformation. So I look at these aspects closely during chart analysis to understand how planetary energies interact and influence each other during a specific time frame, to pinpoint key periods for personal development, relationship dynamics or career shifts, and other shifts like karmic shifts and stuff like that. Because I just find using contra-parallels and parallels gives me more depth in interpretation, so I use them. So contra-parallels and parallels in astrology serve as markers for potential challenges or breakthroughs, guiding us towards more self-awareness, love, acceptance, understanding, forgiveness for ourselves and others, and shifts in consciousness and growth. So overall, just a shift in our mindset if we allow for it. So parallels and contra-parallels just kind of like provide valuable insights into the complexities and nuances of the astrological interactions between planetary movements. So yeah, that's the end of what contra-parallels and parallels are. So we start off this week with Mercury making contra-parallel to the Moon's North Node, and the Moon's North Node is in Pisces, and so is Mercury, and this entered on the 1st of March and is exact on the 3rd of March and leaves us on the 6th of March. Mercury also makes a contra-parallel to Neptune, and Neptune is also in Pisces, and this enters on the 2nd of March and leaves us on the 7th of March. And the Sun makes a parallel to Saturn, and Sun is in Aquarius and Saturn is in Aquarius as well. Okay, so this enters the Sun's parallel to Saturn on the 1st of March, is exact on the 7th of March at 7:31 a.m. and leaves us on the 13th of March, so lasting us for just over a week. So Mercury's contra-parallel to the Moon's North Node this week brings a mix, interplay between our intuition and communication. So this transit can upgrade and improve your ability to express your dreams and goals, allowing you to connect with others on a deeper level. This is an excellent time for creative expression, as ideas may flow more freely and you could find yourself inspired to go after what you want, especially on your artistic, creative projects and spiritual plans, for you to really have the green light feeling within you and be like, I can do this. But we have to watch out for misunderstandings and the tendency to escape into fantasy. So it's important to ground our communications on ourselves in reality, because we can find it challenging to focus or discern, tell the difference between truth and illusion. So being mindful of your thoughts and conversations is a major deal. Psychologically, it encourages us to look into our subconscious, uncovering insights that guide us and our personal evolution. It can also bring on knowledge and feelings to the front of our mind, pushing you to confront emotional truths that can lead to growth. Spiritually, the Moon's North Node represents your path and purpose, while Mercury's influence can help us express this journey. So esoterically, it's a time for aligning your mental processes with your soul's desire, and it pushes us to manifest our spiritual insights into actionable steps, so taking that practical action to totally own who we are, and this opportunity to mix our intuition with communication, paving making the way for significant personal and collective transformation. So we may see changes in our social groups, relationships and stuff like that, as well as within ourselves this week. So Mercury's contra-parallel to Neptune also adds to this sort of energy as well, and this is a sort of like unique mix of mystique, so mystery, the unknown and challenge. So it increases our intuitive ability, so this is really good. It allows us to focus on our creative and spiritual projects, and we just may find ourselves and our thoughts and ideas flowing in a more fluid and imaginative manner, which can be particularly beneficial for creative projects and holistic practices. But on the downside, we can lack clarity and focus in our communication, and we can just misinterpret what others mean right now by what they say and do, and others can misinterpret what we say. So we have to try and be clear in our communication. We can also feel a stronger need and motivation to retreat into our dreams and fantasies, which can lead to confusion or disillusionment, and we can become sort of like disconnected from our reality this week, escaping into our intoxicating substances, drugs, alcohol, doing anything, distracting ourselves too much, Netflix and chilling, hook up in and all of that. I think Netflix and chilling's the same thing, and hook up in. But anyway, psychologically, it encourages us to self-reflect and explore the deeper aspects of our psyche, of our emotional and mental psychological well-being, and it's an invitation to confront our subconscious thoughts and emotional patterns, and it can reveal our hidden fears and desires, the things we really want, So this is a good energy to meditate, to really self-reflect on, as I said, and it wants us to align our mindset with our higher ideals and universal truths, and practice what we preach, do what we say. It inspires us to have more compassion and empathy for ourselves and others as well. And it guides us, to connect with a greater sense of purpose. Esoterically, this aspect asks us to explore our spiritual beliefs as we sort of navigate the delicate balance between illusion and reality. And it wants us to seek enlightenment, self-awareness through self-reflection, forgiveness, love, respect, management, and letting go of the things that hold us back, and using our imagination this week to think outside of our box, because a lot of the time we just think life can never change, and so our life don't change. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why our life doesn't change, because there are lots of economic and other factors as well, so I'm not ignoring those. The sun's parallel to Saturn, with them both in Aquarius, again allows us to experience of time of consolidation, so thinking about the things we want to let go and our responsibilities. It wants us to improve our sense of structure, routine and discipline in going after our goals and aspirations. We can feel more focused and determined this week to go after what we really, really want. So as I said, it's a great energy to use and supports the other energies that want us to set long-term plans and achieve concrete results by doing those daily actions to bring our goals into our reality, and the synergy between the sun's vitality and Saturn's authority can help us use our creative energies in a way that is both practical and meaningful, allowing us to sign while also taking on necessary commitments. So on the negative end, we can just feel a sense of limitation, or we can just be really harsh with the self-criticism. Our inner voices can be really negative right now, and we can just feel more prone to feeling weighed down and burdened, by responsibilities as well. And this can add to the tension between our personal ambitions and external expectations, and this can lead to potential frustration or feeling of being restricted. Psychologically, this transit motivates us to address any internal conflicts related to authority and taking responsibility and accountability for our lives this week, and fear of self-expression and stuff like that, because a lot of the time we are actually scared of our own success, and this is why we can sabotage it, you know. And often we can sabotage ourselves when we're at the pivotal moment of getting our success as well. So spiritually, it wants us to integrate discipline, to be more disciplined with our creativity. It wants us to explore how we can manifest our ideals in a practical ways. Esoterically, it reminds us to recognize the importance of collective responsibility and the broader impact of our actions within our community, within our relationships, you know, asking us to really think about the ways we communicate, where we act with others and ourselves, and how this can get in the way of our self and personal development, and us experiencing the connections we really want with others. So it encourages us to find a balance between personal freedom and societal obligations, you know, what our friends, family wants us to do. So if we find that balance between meeting others' needs and our own needs, this can lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves and others as well. So content creators can use this energy to focus on themes that encourage self-reflection and imaginative exploration, you know. It wants us to focus on topics that highlight the importance of setting intentions and aligning with your higher purpose, because communication takes on a greater role right now this week, you know. So really working with, you know, how we can become more mindful, creating content on how we can journal more, and how journaling can access our inner world and feelings so we can heal them right, how we can become more effective in our communication and share personal stories that illustrate, you know, how communication is a big thing in our relationships, and how a lot of problems in the world and our relationships come from poor communication. With the Neptune energy, you can talk about creativity and spirituality, maybe, you know, create content around dream interpretation, the importance of paying attention to our dreams, and, you know, delving into that mystical, and how we can focus on improving our spiritual practices and looking after ourselves and improving our self-care regime. And it really also, because of Saturn's and the Sun's parallel, you can also talk about how we can build more discipline, responsibility into our life, and how we can work in the short term, day to day, to build our long-term visions, and the importance of breaking down bigger goals into smaller steps, you know, and talking about how we can set realistic goals, how we can manage our time and establish routines that develop productivity, sharing insights on how to overcome obstacles, building resilience and maintaining a balanced perspective while also going after your ambitions. And this can be empowering for your audiences. And, you know, it also talk about the importance of mentorship and mentoring yourself for some of you, and learning from the wisdom of those who have walked similar paths, or learning from your own past experiences, you know, as well as learning from, you know, other people's experiences to sort of like guide you. So yeah, now I'm just going to break down the day-to-day energies that are influencing this week. So this year Venus is going retrograde, so I've done a whole separate audio about that. The Sun's making a quintal to Uranus today on the 2nd of March. Venus enters retrograde at 36 minutes past midnight. The moon void, of course, starts at 1:52. Mercury also makes a conjunction to Neptune at 4:22, and the Sun also makes a square to Jupiter as well at 6:19 p.m. So the Sun's in Aquarius, Uranus is in Aries. Mercury's conjunction to Neptune happens when they're both in Pisces, and the Sun square to Jupiter happens when the Sun's in Aquarius and Jupiter's in Taurus as well. So this energy today on the 2nd of March is a dynamic interplay between the mix of energies that influence our creativity, relationships and personal goals deeply. So the Sun's quintile to Uranus is nice, subtle energy, and invites a spirit of innovation and originality, encouraging you to break free from conventional boundaries, and this aspect develops an environment optimized for experimentation, which can lead to breakthrough ideas or unexpected opportunities. And you may feel inspired to totally own and change and explore new avenues that resonate with your individuality this week as well. Venus is retrograde, which I've done an in-depth audio about, but I'm just going to talk a bit about it here. Ultimately, this energy wants us to think about and reassess our relationships and personal belief systems, our values, It motivates us to reflect on our emotional connections, revealing patterns that require attention or adjustment, change. And Mercury's conjunction to Neptune supports us with being intuitive in our communication this week. It highlights the importance of using our intuition and empathy and our emotions in our sort of communications, and wants us to trust our instincts when expressing our thoughts as well. So yeah, it's important this week, I would say, to trust what you feel, especially when expressing yourself as well. But sometimes we can get the wrong point, and so give others the benefit of the doubt. But if you feel like, oh, I don't want to go out today, I want to take a nap, then do that. I want to spend some time meditating today. Trust that feeling. The Sun square to Jupiter reminds us to be sort of mindful, because it can make us overconfident and impulsive, this energy. So we have to find a balance between that. It supports us with going after what we really want to do, but it's important to ground our ambitions in realistic goals to avoid potential traps, obstacles. Use this energy of change while staying mindful of your relationships and long-term goals. Do not spend your rent money in all in one day, and just try and work with today's energies to help you stay balanced and take care of yourself and your relationships, and question your values like Venus retrograde wants you to do. So on the 3rd of March, the moon enters Aries. The crescent moon phase starts at 7:17. Mercury makes a quintile to Jupiter at 5:16. Mercury makes a contra-parallel to the moon's north node at 7:04 p.m. and I talked about this at the beginning of the week. So yeah, Mercury's quintile to Jupiter happens when Mercury's in Pisces, Jupiter's in Taurus. The moon in Aries allows us to feel really motivated over the next couple of days. It makes us more assertive. It supports us with starting new things and going after what we really want, because it gives us a lot of energy. But negatively, it adds to the impulsivity of this week and the frustration. We can feel more irritable, and we can just act without considering the consequences, which can lead to and add to the conflicts. So the best use of this transit is to use the dynamic energy for proactive plans while remaining mindful of emotional reactions. So yeah, this balance upgrades and improves our productivity while minimizing the likelihood of unnecessary confrontations with others, because we can overstep each other's boundaries and be angry with our words and actions, so watch out for that. The crescent moon allows us and supports us with setting our intentions this week, nurturing our goals. It gives us lots of energy for growth over the next few days that the moon is in its crescent moon phase. So this is really good. It encourages us to think big and explore philosophical ideas. Get crazy with the thinking, but not too crazy. Stay grounded, but open your mind. So yeah, it sort of asks us to engage in discussions that inspire us to take personal growth and further our education or professional skills. And We should use this day to balance our assertiveness with a sense of deliberation, focused only doing the actions that we really want to do, so be really intentional with your words and actions today, and tap into both your innovative ideas and your desire for security, because some of you may want to have some time out, but you may also need a hug after that time out over the next few days, so make sure you meet the needs of all sides of you, So on the 4th of March, Mercury is contra-parallel to Neptune exact at 11:26. The moon void, of course, starts at 9:37, so yeah. On the 5th of March, the moon enters Taurus and Mercury makes a set star to Pluto, and this lasts us for a couple of days, and Mercury's in Pisces and Pluto's in Capricorn. So yeah, the moon in Taurus encourages us to appreciate the simple pleasures in life. It's a good time for indulging in comfort foods, pampering ourselves and enjoying nature. Taurus is all about grounding, so you may find it easier to focus on practical matters, making it a great time for budgeting or planning. On the flip side, Taurus can also bring about stubbornness, so if you're feeling resistant to change, it may be harder to adapt to new ideas or situations, and emotions can just become a bit too tied to material possessions, and this can lead to the feelings of possessiveness or jealousy. So to make the most of this transit, channel that energy into self-care routines. Think about what truly brings you joy and comfort. It's a good time to connect with loved ones over a meal or engage in creative projects that require patience and attention to detail. Remember, this is a period to slow down and appreciate the beauty around you, so take a moment to breathe and enjoy the little things as well. And this balance upgrades and improves our productivity while minimizing the likelihood of unnecessary confrontations, because remember, we've got a lot of energy this week making us a bit aggressive and stuff, so we need to chill out a bit. We've got Mercury making a set star to Pluto also today, so this upgrades and improves our mental depth and clarity. We are likely to look into profound, deep topics, uncover hidden truths, and engage in research or investigative projects that require concentrating and insight. So this energy supports us to dig deep into what needs to be digged deep into, and it offers us the ability to communicate our findings with others with compelling intensity. But watch out for that, because that can lead into aggression, right? So it's a great energy to use for discussions that may lead to transformative ideas or revelations, but secrets can come out and the revelations may not be good in the long run, So use this period to refine your thoughts, engage in meaningful conversations, chants, and totally earn both strategic planning and creative expression in your plans today. So yeah. On the 6th of March, the moon's north node goes retrograde and the moon enters its first quarter moon phase. So the moon's north node retrograde allows us to rethink our relationships and experiences, and it pushes us to consider the lessons that we learned this week or in our past about our relationships. And then it wants us to question how these lessons align with our future goals and aspirations, like what wisdom can we take from these lessons so we can be more in alignment. It may make us feel like, we can understand our inner motivations more deeply now, and this can lead to significant personal insights that we can action to make changes in our life. And the first quarter moon increases our desire to take action to change, so it's a powerful energy to use to set intentions and start new projects today that resonate with your renewed clarity, your renewed understanding, your new mindset about what it takes to get what you really want out of life, So, focus on self-reflection and journaling to capture insights from your past while also taking advantage of the dynamic momentum flow state provided by the first quarter moon as well. Today is a time to balance contemplation with, decisive steps in action, and you can sift through what no longer serves you and use the momentum flow state towards your goals. This alignment encourages both healing and proactive engagement with your life's journey. So on the 7th of March, the moon void of course starts. The moon also enters Gemini at 6:15. The sun's parallel to Saturn is exact at 7:32 today, and I talked about this at the beginning of this week. So the moon in Gemini allows us to be flexible, to be curious and effective in our communication. So it allows us to, just have more fun in our conversations. They can become more energetic and lively. It pushes us to explore new ideas. It encourages us to be more social and share information. But negatively, the restlessness and the scattered thoughts and the difficulty in focusing, because of Gemini's dual nature, can lead to indecisiveness. So the best use of this energy is to brainstorm, to network and to learn, and it wants us to remain open to diverse perspectives while striving for balance to avoid being overwhelmed and distracted today. On the 8th of March, the Sun makes a trine to Mars at 5:13 a.m. The Sun makes a semi-square to Pluto at 9:59, and the Sun makes a contra-parallel to Mercury at 9:55 as well. Okay, so the Sun's trine to Mars happens when Mars is in Gemini and the Sun's in Aquarius. The Sun's semi-square to Pluto happens when Pluto's in Capricorn, and the Sun's contra-parallel to Mercury happens when Mercury's in Pisces. And this energy, the Sun's contra-parallel to Mercury, leaves us on the 11th of March. So all these energies just last a couple of days. So the Sun's trine to Mars as we close down a week upgrades and improves our drive and ambition. It empowers us to go after our goals with enthusiasm and confidence, and it makes it an ideal time to initiate, start new projects or take decisive actions in various areas of our lives. And we may feel a need, a motivation of energy and assertiveness to tackle challenges head on as well with this energy, because it supports us doing the hard things, also supports us getting physical, having exercise, making love, also working on competitive plans, good for sales, and because it gives us that inner strength and determination. It's a period over the next few days where our individual efforts can yield significant results, so totally own the momentum and flow state that this energy brings and push forward with your goals and objectives. The Sun's semi-square to Pluto brings intensity and adds to the friction of this week. While we may feel, invigorated, empowered to make change, there can also be underlying tensions and power struggles that can come up within ourselves and our relationships, particularly in areas related to authority or transformation. So it's vital to remain aware of any obsessive thoughts or tendencies that can come up, as they may conflict with your desires for progress. Use this time to confront any deeper issues that require attention, but do so with a balanced approach. And by acknowledging the challenges and integrating them into your plans, you can navigate the complexities of this transit and this week really, and come out at the other end more stronger, more resilient, ready to face the world and the world's challenges, because life, can sometimes give us curveballs, and the best we can do is to learn to deal with them right. So that's the end of the weekly scopes from the 2nd of March to the 8th of March. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological life coach. Take care and see you next week.